I'm Shari. I am a coral crusader. I started out when I was very young as a swimmer. I learned to snorkel, and eventually I was lucky enough to learn how to scuba dive. Now I live in Colorado, a state without any coastline, without any beaches. So I travel the world all over to learn about marine life and to scuba dive. While I was diving, I thought, this is fun traveling. It's very interesting, but I wanted to make a difference. So I became a coral crusader. And what that means is I talk about, share information, and collect information about coral ecosystems all over the world. Here in Hickory, you're 329 miles from the Atlantic, but you can make a difference too. You can also learn and become a coral crusader. What are corals? People wonder, are corals animals, minerals, vegetable or plants? Corals are animals because they have multiple cells, they consume other organisms for food, they have a stomach, and they're multicellular. But coral are special in that they have algae living inside them that are plants and use photosynthesis for their energy. And coral also excrete an outer skeleton of calcium carbonate, a mineral, the same one found in chalk, eggshells, and pearls. So coral are animals that are home to plants that excrete minerals. And you can see a whole tank of corals here at the Catawba Science Center. They're very important, but why? Corals protect shorelines from surging seas and storms, like hurricanes. Corals have found to be a source of tremendous medicines that are now used to heal cancers and diabetes and all sorts of other drugs. The reef is home to over 35% of all marine life, and it's a very important housing source for the ocean. But corals are dying. 98% of all the hard corals in the Caribbean have died in your lifetime. Why? Because of construction along the coast? Because of pollution from chemicals and fertilizers? Because of climate change and ocean acidification? Because of poor fishing practices and recreation practices that throw down anchors in careless places? But there are things that can be done. Coral restoration is something that is saving corals. We're finding native corals where they are still alive and healthy. We're taking fragments, finger-sized, of those corals, and we're hanging them from trees that live under the ocean that are not real trees. They're made from PVC pipe, and they're in 35 to 45-foot water where they get lots of light and sun. And those coral fragments on those trees grow very quickly and can be outplanted and create new thickets and colonies of coral, helping regrow reefs. What can you do to protect the coral reef and the ocean? So here in Hickory, we're 329 miles from the ocean. Some of you may have visited the sea, some of you may not. But even here, the water that you use goes down the drain into the Catawba River system, eventually to the Wateree and the Sawtee system, where it winds up in the Atlantic. So things that you do here can have a very positive or negative effect on the ocean. You can use less water. That right away helps protect the marine life. You can use reef-safe products. And if you look below this display, there'll be a QR code that'll take you to a website that will list products to avoid and products that are safe to use for both coral and the ocean. Really important is to consider, don't use single-use plastics. Sadly, single-use plastics outnumber marine life 6 to 1. One water bottle lasts over 450 years. So if you had a water bottle and you were a knight in shining armor on a horse outside your castle, that water bottle would still be here today. And it doesn't ever really break down. It just goes into smaller and smaller pieces that unfortunately have been found in turtles and whales and even people. So use reusable water bottles. There's a lot you can learn here at the Catawba Science Center, and you can become a coral crusader like me and protect the reef and protect the oceans.